Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness. It's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A, but I'm going to give you guys another bicep shot first. And let's get into these questions. First question, would you lose muscle tissue if you didn't hit protein requirements for one day at a caloric deficit and didn't make up for it during the week? Well, as I've covered before, you can make up for it as long as you do so within, say, 24 hours because of the digestion rate of protein and the rate of absorption on it, assuming you're eating whole foods and not using straight whey powder or amino acid powders. But as far as answering your question, yes, you could potentially lose a very, very small amount of muscle tissue. Now, on a cut, unless you're on dramatically low calories, you're not going to lose very much muscle in a single day. But you could lose a fraction more muscle mass as a result of this, yes, so I wouldn't recommend doing it. So if you do come up short on your protein of what you know you need to preserve muscle tissue for your stats, then you need to make up for it the next day. All right, next question. Benefits of deadlifting barefoot. First of all, the obvious is that you don't need deadlift shoes then, because you are able to drive through the heels just as effectively as you can through shoes. But the reason a lot of people do it barefoot is that you can move a little more weight. On a deadlift, generally for most people, your weakest point is the initial breaking it off the floor. That's the hardest part, and even if you miss a lockout, it's because you pulled it from the floor too slow. You didn't get enough power out of the bottom. Is actually the cause of at least 50% of the missed lockouts. So by removing the sole of a shoe, because even Chucks and things sometimes have a half-inch sole at the bottom, you're now half-inch closer to the ground. That is a half-inch you pull out of the range of motion at the hardest part of the movement. So it gives you the ability to produce a slightly better deadlift in terms of your 1 rep max. But of course it's debatable as to if that's actually beneficial to your hypertrophy. But we're talking tit for tat at that point, so I wouldn't worry about it as far as that's concerned. But yeah, if you're trying to get a better 1 rep max, being barefoot is ideal. Or since you can't be barefooted at powerlifting meets, you use minimalist shoes. A lot of guys don't even use their Chucks to deadlift in. They get special deadlift slippers, they'll use Vibrams, things like that with a minimalist sole to get their heel as close to the floor as possible to give them 1 or 2 more pounds on their deadlift. Alright, last question. Some athletes like Chris Gethin cut out almost all fat from their diet. Chris, for example, still manages to grow every year. I always understood that fat was mandatory to make gains and maintain proper hormone functions. What is your take on this? Well, because I've not personally seen Chris Gethin's gains, I don't know how low he cuts his fat in his diet, so this isn't a personal statement about him, but as a general rule, guys who run fat way below what I've told you guys in my basic nutrition playlist is needed for optimal hormone production, and they still make fantastic gains in muscle mass, and they get really big and strong running their dietary fat way below what you know you need to produce enough testosterone, then the obvious answer is drugs. They're on steroids. This is a telltale characteristic that somebody is using exogenous testosterone and potentially other anabolic steroids. They're able to make fantastic gains while consuming a deficient diet that is not capable of producing optimal hormone levels and anabolic hormones and testosterone in their body. So that's how they do it. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you next time.